Hello everyone, I am Tina Rama. I am a mission volunteer for MFC Youth and I have been serving the Lord for almost 6 years now. I have been a missionary at around 2015, and throughout my missionary life, I could say I have been through a lot. There was a time that I was diagnosed with depression, and it was really a tough experience to serve God and to be mentally ill at the same time. There are good days still, of course. There are days that I'm sad, that I feel empty, like there's this weight on my chest that I kept on dragging just so I can wake up the next day. And as a missionary, I meet a lot of people, but back then I didn't know who and how to tell others about my thoughts. I was really anxious about a lot of things too, and I kept on wondering, has my faith become so little, or is my heart that weak? Is this world too much for me, or is my heart too small for the world? Then slowly I realized that it's not about my faith or my strength. It was my depression speaking. I was mentally ill. I may not be showing visible symptoms just like the other diseases, but I was going through something painful as well in a different way. Slowly I realized that my emotions and my thoughts are part of me, but not the entirety of who I am. I know now that it's okay not to be okay. Through that experience, I have learned a lot about myself and how I deal with what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling. There are unhealthy ways that I have done to address my emotions. Maybe some of you who are watching have done this or are doing this to themselves as well. There are 3 unhealthy approaches that I'd like to share with you. One is we suppress our emotions. I think most of us are used to trying to toughen ourselves up when things are hard. Whenever we're sad or we're down, we have been taught to just shrug it off. People would say, you're just thinking too much, you're just being so dramatic, or that will pass too. And so whenever we have this emotion that we can't put aside, we suppress them. We try to keep it all together because if we break, the people around us might not be able to take it or take us. I mean, you can hear yourself, you can hear your thoughts loud and clear over and over again, and that could be tiring. We get tired of listening to ourselves, and that would have been tiring for others too, and we don't want that. So instead of releasing it or talking to someone about it, we box it inside us. There are also times when we have a lot of things to do, we just choose to set aside our emotions or undesirable feelings to get things done. And I'm not just referring to negative emotions, because at times we also suppress joy or excitement. Sometimes we feel really happy, but at the same time we feel like we don't deserve it at all. Or sometimes we try not to be so happy about something because one day we might lose it, and the thought of that really scares us. I think the danger that comes with suppressing our emotion is that it stays within us. Which leads me to another unhealthy approach, which is that we dwell too much in our emotions. It's not that we are stuck in our emotions, I guess it's more of the emotion being stuck in us. Because we have buried it down so deeply, somehow it remains. It arises at some point, and because it's all the years of suppressed feelings, we kind of take time to process it or to deal with them. So at times, we can't help but to stay on it for much longer, that sometimes we sink. And lastly, because we dwell on the emotions so much, we start to become impatient with what we are going through. We are sometimes impatient with our progress because we usually compare our worst moments to the best of others. Whenever we feel an undesirable feeling, we tend to compare how we deal with things with how others would. The past few months, we've been through a lot of change, and sometimes we forget that we are not okay. I mean, we are in a pandemic and we feel a lot of things, but we tend to urge ourselves to feel okay right away, and that sometimes double the pain even more. These 3 approaches don't allow us to keep our wounds open for healing to come in. These 3 approaches don't allow us to turn our negative emotions into something more beautiful or something more positive. We should allow ourselves to be human and to feel like human. Jesus himself experienced all of these emotions of being human. At John 11:35, he wept At Matthew 17:17, he got frustrated. He experienced distress at Mark 14:33. These are all reminders that just like Jesus, we may experience all those things, but still be able to rise from all of them. The season of not being okay is a part of our journey on learning how to cope up with things. And if we prevent ourselves to feel them or to go through them, then we will never truly overcome them. There is a why behind the house of life. There is a purpose for the good and difficult times of life. It's not just plain brokenness or ache. Something great will come out of that experience. And so we must learn on how to deal with our emotions and with our thoughts. So there are the ABCs on how we can deal with our emotions. A is to acknowledge, accept, and analyze our emotions. It's either we embrace the reality of what we're going through or live in pretense our whole lives. If you're not okay, then you're not okay. Stop invalidating what you're going through just because others might not understand or it's not that heavy in the opinions of other people. Acknowledge your feelings. If it's anger, then it's anger. If it's disappointment, it's disappointment. Acknowledge it. See it as it is. Then accept its weight. It's also equally important that we analyze our feelings and the factors that led to them. Because processing is a way for us to understand ourselves better and how we feel and react or respond to certain situations and actions. B is to be patient with the process. Stop comparing your worst moments to the best of others. You have your best moments too, others have their worst moments that you have never seen. But point is, you have to start focusing on your own walk than watching how far others have come. Embrace where you are now. It's not about how fast or how slow you are, but how you love the pace you're currently in. If it takes this much for you to overcome something, then so be it. Embrace it. If this is how much time God is taking to shape you, to heal you, then let Him do His work well. Let God take His time with you. C is to commit to rise above from our negative emotions. Yes, your emotions are valid, but don't invalidate your growth as well. Your emotions stop you from actualizing your true potential. Feel what you need to feel, but don't forget to rise up. Start by challenging your thoughts. Confirm them, but don't affirm them. Process, sit on them, but don't live through them. Rise above by committing to pray. Consistently pray. God recognizes our faith no matter how little or big it might be. What matters is that your faith in its littleness sustains you and keeps you fighting one day at a time. If that faith is the reason why you're still serving God, if that faith is the reason why you're still holding on, then it's not so little as how you think it is after all. Pray not because it will heal you, but because either you're mentally diagnosed or you're going through something. Praying allows you to journey with God. If not the world or the people around you, at least start with God. Pray even when you have no words to say and all God can hear is you crying. He hears and He recognizes that. Walk with the Lord so that you won't be led by your emotions. Be led by the Lord. Rise above by committing to verbalize what we are going through to a trustworthy person. Talk to someone. I have learned to overcome my thinking that others might judge me if I tell them my thoughts. I learned that there are certain people in our lives that God appointed to journey with us and who are willing to go through the storm with us. There are people who are willing to listen. Just make sure you keep your circle safe. I have a lot of friends. There are a lot of people in my life. I'm the type who keeps everyone I meet close to me, but I have learned that there are only a few people who will truly understand and embrace who I am when I don't feel like myself. There are certain people or a person in your life who will recognize you when you don't know who you are anymore. Talk to someone. Talk to someone you really trust, a safe person, your household servant, your mission volunteer, your parents, your best friend, someone you truly trust who can help you untangle your thoughts. When your emotions are really strong, it truly helps to have someone with you sometimes. Third is self-care. To rise above, of course, we need other people to help us. But at some point, I have also learned that the rising part, that's on me. The people around you, they can only journey with you and support you as you rise. But the decision to really stand up, that's on you. That's all you. So learn to care for yourself. Learn to pause when you have to. Do things that bring you joy, especially when there's so much to do and you're tired. Find time to rest and unwind. Self-care is attending to what you love and what you need. It's not neglecting our chores or responsibilities just so we can rest. It's more of building a kind of life that you won't occasionally have to recover from or escape from. It's not just treating yourself with milk tea or coffee, but on sustaining activities or a kind of lifestyle that will bring you a long-term wellness. A is to acknowledge, accept, and analyze our emotions. B is to be patient with the process. And C is to commit to rise above from our negative emotions. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." The Lord is with you. Regardless of your condition, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, He is close to you. And it's okay if mentally or emotionally you feel like you're crushed. It's okay. The Lord is still with you. It's okay not to be okay. So to the youth who are watching this, remember that being in a season of not being okay is okay. Whatever we are feeling or going through is a journey. It's not a chapter as well that you get to close once you're done, because along the way we will still have moments where we don't feel okay. So it truly matters that you don't let the emotion pass without learning. Yes, you are not okay, but it doesn't mean that you're done. I pray and hope that we learn to recognize that these emotions don't mean we're weak. We've been through a lot of trauma or experience that we had to unlearn, and that's not easy. It's not easy to unlearn something. What we are going through on our darkest moments are just a foreshadowing of how strong we will become for the greater things of life. You don't feel well, but you've done well for holding on. Thank you for joining me in this session, and may God bless us all. Take care of yourself.